Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are going to take a look at a brand new product from Tarte that was just released. This is the Tarte Glowlight Skin Filter. It is a $30 product and we are going to talk about it. Let's go ahead and get into this. The Tarte Glowlight Skin Filter is 6 shades and it is $30 and it is a little bit confusing. So the other day I reviewed the new Rare Under Eye brightening product, and I talked about how Tarte was coming out with a similar product and that I would compare the two. I was a little wrong. Hey, I'm usually right all the time, but I was a little off base. This is a little bit of a different product. It is a brightening, it is a glowing, so in that sense they're the same or super similar. But they are different products, and let's go through how that is and why that is. Okay, so again, this also comes in 6 shades, I think just like the Rare, that work well with different skin tones, and it is $30. I picked up the shade called Glimmer, which is kind of a champagne glow, they describe it, but there are 5 others. Now this is multi-use, whereas the Rare that I already reviewed, I'll link my Rare review below, whereas the Rare is really an under-eye brightener that can be worn alone or over concealer. This has even more uses. This can mix with concealer if you would like to brighten your concealer under your eyes, so it will do that, but it also does about a bajillion other things. This has no sparkle to it, just like the Rare. It is just a dewy finish, and it kind of works either alone, so you can put it all over the face. It has a really big doe foot applicator, unlike the metal tip on the Rare. The Rare has that metal tip, you'll see in my review if you click on it below, to kind of depuff and de-stress eyes. That's not what this is for. This has a big doe foot so that you can put it all over the face. Is either a primer or just a nice glowy look for a no makeup day. You can then use it as a primer and apply any coverage of foundation over it. You can mix it in with your foundation to give your foundation a bit of a glow, or you can go ahead and use it on top of foundation to provide on the high points of the cheeks and the nose and such, to provide a slight bit of highlight. It has hyaluronic acid and squalene and all sorts of things that are really good, and really contains, the brand says, ultra fine powders that help blur pores and blur fine lines. It brightens, it boosts, it does, takes the kids to soccer practice, it does everything. Do you know what this reminds me of? Because you're all sitting there at home going, Rebecca, you're missing the comparison. No, I promise I'm not. The comparison is actually not to the Rare Under Eye Brightener. What's the comparison to? The comparison is to Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, or even a little bit of our Auric Glow Lust. That's what the comparison is to, more than Rare. And I thought I would take my shades, this Auric I think is in Selenite, and I thought I would take some shades here and we would compare it. So this is, in the Hollywood Flawless Filter, this should be shade 3, I think. Yes, it is. All right, so let's go ahead and just compare it. That's what this is. The way you use the Hollywood Flawless Filter, or even the Auric, that's what this is. And so many of you I know are going to go, oh, okay, thanks, I already have my Hollywood Flawless Filter. Yeah, this is another version of it, really. All right, so let's take a look. Remember, so this is going to be nice, and I'll take this outside too, guys, don't worry. This is going to be nice and kind of foil-like. And my guess is, here it is, this is the Tarte product in the Glimmer shade. All right, now here is my tried and true, beloved Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is shade 3. A little bit warmer. I might have been able to match the shade better in a different shade of the Tarte, I don't know. A little bit warmer, not as silvery and foily, and I think it's going to be really similar to this Auric and Selenite, which has that darn pump so many of us complained about. So I put that on my finger here, and let me just, I don't know. Really, the Auric has the most coverage of all of them. Always has, right? Yeah, I thought it was going to be more similar to the Auric, but in actuality, it is much more similar to the Hollywood Flawless Filter. Maybe not so much in the swatch because maybe of the shades, but that is what it is most similar to. Let's take a moment while I run outside and show you this in the warm California sunshine with the Tarte on the left and the Flawless Filter in the middle, and the Auric Glow Lust on the right there in Selenite. Don't look so much at the shade, please, because the shades might be differing a bit. Look more at the coverage. And it looks like this is pretty much a dupe for the Hollywood Flawless Filter. Much more than it is anything comparable to the Rare Under Eye Brightener. You could mix this Tarte product with a concealer and achieve that same effect, but the Rare is made to go over it. If you want, don't worry, I won't miss it out for you. Just for fun, let's take that Rare Beauty and I'll just put it right underneath it. You don't get as much. It's kind of similar, isn't it? I'm trying to get more off of the... There we go. There we go. Right underneath it. There we go. And I'll go back to my outside swatch because I did have it on my arm. I don't know if you noticed that at the time, because I did my swatches after. So let's go back to that outside shot so you can see that too underneath it. I got to tell you though, I really am not going to compare this Tarte to the Rare. I think they're different animals. The Tarte can be compared to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. If you have the Hollywood Flawless Filter and if you already love it, then there you go. We even got the big doe foot, etc., etc. $30, which is less money, but it does appear to be a lot less product. I mean, they're dupes. They're dupes. But the Tarte product is lovely. Very lovely. But it appears to even be the same opacity. It appears to be a pretty darn exact dupe. So let's go now to the demo, because I want to show you how this works, and we're going to try it in quite a few different ways that should help you decide if this is something that you want to purchase. Stay right there. Okay, I sit before you now with literally nothing on my face, and I do mean literally. It is the afternoon, and this morning I did skincare, nothing since then, so we really truly have a bare face. This product can be worn so many different ways that if I were to demonstrate them all, and I could go wash my face and demonstrate each one, it would just get confusing. So let's try to tackle 3 of the main ones in one face, in one go. First of all, we're going to try to use it the way I use the Hollywood Flawless Filter, as a primer. I brought over here so we don't get confused the same Rare Beauty skin tint. So we will put it on one side of the face as a primer. On the other side of the face, we will mix it with the foundation and see what it does to this rather natural looking matte sort of foundation. Thought that was a good one to pick. It is light foundation, but again, we can't test everything in one fell swoop. And then afterwards, we will test it as a highlighter. And we'll do that on each side. Okay, I think that's the best way to do it. Getting my hair slightly out of my face here. All right, let us start with using it first as a primer, which means I'm just kind of putting it onto my face the same way I would the Hollywood Flawless Filter or even the Auric, to be honest. And then I'm just going to use my hand and very gently, I'm not pulling on the skin, very gently, and it has the same look actually as the Auric, more than the Hollywood Flawless Filter actually. And I'm going to put it on the eye. Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter on the bare eyelid is a lovely eyeshadow base, if you didn't know that already. Okay, there we go. It is now primed on this side, and I have chosen to use this particular Rare skin tint for 2 reasons. Number one, it was out from my Rare Beauty video the other day. Hey, nothing like a creator who's honest. And number 2, I thought it had a good finish to just kind of show anything through it. Kind of a matte, natural finish. All right, so I'm going to put it just on this side of the face and just over this as a primer. On the other side of the face, we will mix the 2 together. And then, as I said, we will try it as a highlight. Okay, now there is no concealer on, and of course, or eye brightener, speaking of that new Rare product. So of course you can go ahead and add that on. All right, so there we go. I had a little stripe in the middle of the nose where I didn't blend well, forgive me. This side of the face has it as a primer, the brand new Tarte product as a primer. All right, so how in the world would you accurately mix it? Well, let's try to figure it out. Let's do maybe 1, 2 stripes of this. I just did on the back of my hand to 1, 2 dots. It really doesn't matter what you do, just try to get it the same if you run out, right? Okay, so here we go. I don't ever see much of a difference in mixing it, but we did. Yes, I'm using the same brush. It's okay. The brush has both the product and the Tarte product on it, both the Rare and the Tarte. So I think I'm okay with that. I mean, I get that we can get scientific and pristine, but really it's makeup, you know. So, okay, let's see. Now, as usual, what I like to do is I like to take the warmth of my hands and kind of, this is just a me thing, kind of press it in and just kind of, I just think the warmth of the hands, whatever you use, just kind of makes things look really nice and mixed in. I'm not pulling on my skin. I'm not hurting it. I'm just kind of using my hands to just kind of get that base settled in. Okay, let's take a look. I bet you won't really see too much of a difference. On this side of the face, I used the brand new Tarte product, a brightening product, as a primer. And I put a kind of natural to matte skin tint over the top. And on this side, I mixed the two. Can you see a difference? Let me see if I can look and see a difference. Not really. When I smile, hi, and the light picks up on my cheeks, maybe a bit, not really, can ya? Okay, so now let's take it and let's use it as a highlight, which a lot of people use their Charlotte and they use the Auric product for. Okay, so here it is. Yes, I can't make this even. You know, this side it's a primer, this side is, I don't really think you can tell a difference. You know, once they mix on your face, they mix, but you know, preference. How about down the nose? I'll just do it on this side and then you guys can see what you think. Oh, got on the tip a little bit. Very 10 years ago, huh? Okay, and over the eye a little bit. Okay, so on this side I've also used it as a little bit of a gentle highlighter just on this side of the face. Also happens to be the side of the face that I mixed it with the foundation. I am really going to go with, unless you guys correct me in comments, I am really going with the fact that whether it's used as a primer or mixed in is the same. And here is the side of my face where I've added it as a highlight and not on this side. What I'm going to do now is kind of try to even things out, fix up my makeup. You really can't tell, you know, it's a trust the process thing. You really can't tell what things are going to be till I've got a full face of makeup on. So let's take a look in a split second. Okay, here we are with full makeup on, and actually 3 hours later. So little bit of a wear test on this as well, and it's doing just fine. You know, usually these kind of products are going to wear pretty well. I kind of defy you with all the makeup on to really tell the difference between the side that we just used as primer and the side where we mixed it with the foundation first. Once you get full makeup on, you really can't tell. I went ahead and I applied it as a highlighter on this side as well, and it is very subtle and pretty. So how would I use this? Probably just as a primer, probably very much in the same way that I use the Hollywood Flawless Filter or even the Auric product. As I said at the beginning, since Charlotte Tilbury introduced that Hollywood Flawless Filter, we have seen so many others like it. Would I mix this with concealer for underneath the eyes? Sure, but frankly, I got the Rare product and I think that works really well. So believe it or not, as I said, these are not similar like I thought they would be, though they could be used similarly. This one is more to kind of mix with concealer, then go over. It would be very pretty to highlight under the eyes if that's a look you're going for, but I do see this and the Rare as very different products. Super happy to answer any questions about that, though, that you might have here or over on Instagram or whatever works for you guys. Okay, and if there's any other questions or if you need to see better swatch comparisons or whatever you need, you just let me know. I'm happy to do that for you over on Instagram, but you can ask here as well. All right, let me know all of that stuff. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so we can continue to grow into the new year. Hey, I have an end of the year questionnaire out for what products you use the most. The deadline to fill that out is the 21st. I have hundreds upon hundreds of entries, but if you have not gotten me yours yet, every vote counts. I will link that below in case you haven't gotten me back your answers yet. Come over and say a big hello on Instagram and TikTok too. And don't forget, you can support this channel by means of super thanks or by becoming a member for all sorts of good member-only privileges. And if nothing else, I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.